any point charge exerts some force on any other point charge is called as electrostatic force, which is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square, where K is called as Coulomb's constant, whose value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, or 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square, whose dimensions are m1 L3 t minus 4a minus 2. And here epsilon naught is permittivity of free space, whose value is 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton per meter square, and whose dimensions are m minus 1 L minus 3 T4 A2. Now, if we have a medium instead of a space, then what is formula for Coulomb's force? It will be K Q1 Q2 by square root of R. K Q1 Q2 by square root of K into R whole square. Now, what is small k? What is this small k? The small k is nothing but dielectric constant or relative permittivity. Small k is the ratio of electrostatic force in a space to electrostatic force in a medium, or permittivity of medium to permittivity of free space. The value of dielectric constant small k is 1 for space and infinite for conductor. Its value ranges from 1 to infinity for insulator. For example, an oil has dielectric constant of 2 unit and water has dielectric constant of 80 unit. It is a unitless and dimensionless physical quantity because it is a ratio. Now, Coulomb's force, if we have a various mediums as a sandwich, medium 1, medium 2, medium 3, with dielectric constants K1, K2 and K3 of thickness T1, T2 and T3, then the electrostatic force between two charges is F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by square root of K1 into T1 plus square root of K2 into T2 plus square root of K3 into T3 whole square. And if we have to find out Coulomb's force between multiple point charges, then we have Q1, Q2 and a negative charge Q3. Now the total force by Q1, Q2 and Q3 on capital charge Q will be F1 is equal to K Q1 capital Q by R1 square, F2 is equal to K Q2 capital Q by R2 square, F3 is equal to K Q3 capital Q by R3 square. Now, if we add all these forces vectorially, then we will have resultant force as vector F1 plus vector F2 plus vector F3 is equal to resultant force vector F R. Now, what is electric field? What is electric field? Electrostatic force per unit charge is called as electric field intensity. If F is the electrostatic force acting on a charge Q, if F is the electrostatic force acting on a charge Q, then the electrostatic force acting on plus 1 coulomb of charge is called as electric field intensity of that point. That is nothing but electrostatic force per unit charge. Electrostatic force per unit charge, that is electrostatic force acting on plus 1 coulomb of charge, is called as electric field intensity. Its unit is Newton per coulomb or volt per meter. Its dimensions are m1 L1 t minus 3 and a minus 1. What is significance or importance of electric field? Significance or importance of electric field is, if we know the force acting on plus 1 coulomb is E, force acting on plus 1 coulomb is E, and the force acting on charge Q is QE. If force acting on plus 1 coulomb is E, then force acting on a charge Q will be QE. If the charge is positive, then the force will be in the direction of electric field, and if charge is negative, then the force will act in opposite direction of electric field. Now, electric field due to a point charge. Electric field due to a point charge. Suppose we have a point charge Q and at a distance small r from a charge Q at a distance small r, what will be electric field? That means Q will exert some force on plus 1 coulomb. That force is called as electric field of this Q. We will use the formula of Coulomb's force, and it will be E is equal to K into Q into 1, that means KQ divided by r square. That is electric field of this point charge. So electric field of point charge is E is equal to kq by r square. What is electric field due to multiple point charges? Electric field due to multiple point charges can be obtained by adding individual electric fields vectorially. So electric field of q1 at a distance r1 will be E is equal to kq1 by r1 square. Electric field of q2 at a distance r2 will be E2 is equal to kq2 by r2 square. Electric field of q3 at a distance r3 will be kq3 by r3 square. And if we add all three electric fields vectorially, then we will have resultant electric field at the given point. Now line charge. What is electric field intensity of line charge with charge capital Q and length L? There is another point called as linear charge density. If we divide total charge by total length, we will have linear charge density lambda. Its unit is coulomb per meter. Now the question is, what is electric field intensity of line charge or a charged rod of length L and charge Q at a distance small d from its one end? Electric field intensity of a charged rod of length capital Q of length L and charge capital Q at a distance d from its one end will be E is equal to K capital Q by capital L into 1 by d minus 1 by d plus L. Now if we have to find out electric field intensity of a line charge at a point sideway to the line charge, then we will have two components of electric field. First component of electric field will be perpendicular to the line charge, and second component of electric field will be in the direction of line charge. And the components are E1 is equal to k lambda by d into sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2, while E2 is equal to k lambda by d into cos theta 1 plus cos theta 2, where theta 1 and theta 2 are respective angles obtained when we join the given point with the ends of the line charge, where lambda is linear charge density, which is equal to total charge by total length. Now if we have to find out electric field intensity of an infinitely long line charge, electric field intensity of infinitely long line charge, then the electric field intensity of infinitely long line charge at a distance small r will be E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r, where lambda is linear charge density, total charge by total length. Now if we have a charged arc, and the total charge on arc is capital Q and the total charge on arc is capital Q, the question will be, what is electric field intensity at the center of the arc, and the electric field intensity will be E is equal to minus k capital Q by alpha r square into cos theta, and we have to use limits from theta 1 to theta 2, where theta 1 is first limit and theta 2 is second limit as shown in a figure, and alpha is a angle of this arc. Now for plane charge, electric field intensity is E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Electric field intensity of a plane charge is E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught, where sigma is surface charge density obtained by total charge and total area. Total charge by total area is nothing but surface charge density, and if we have a surface charge density of a plane charge, then we can find out electric field intensity of a plane charge, that is E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. And instead of a plane charge, if we have a thick wall or a conducting wall, then the electric field intensity of a thick wall or a conducting wall is twice as that of plain charge. That means E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught, where sigma is charge divided by area, that is surface charge density. Now, very easy point, electric field intensity due to charged spheres. We have hollow conducting sphere, solid conducting sphere, hollow insulating sphere, and all these three have same relations. That is, electric field intensity inside or at the center is 0, inside 0, at the surface of a sphere E is equal to kq by capital R square, where capital R is radius of a sphere, and electric field outside the sphere at a distance small r from the center is E is equal to kq by small r square. It is very important point. I am saying again, hollow conducting sphere, solid conducting sphere, hollow conducting sphere, hollow conducting sphere, solid conducting sphere, and hollow insulating sphere. All three spheres have same formulas. Number 1, electric field intensity at center 0. Number 2, electric field intensity inside the sphere 0. Number 3, electric field intensity on the surface of the sphere is E is equal to capital K capital Q by capital R square. And number 4, electric field intensity outside the sphere is E is equal to K Q by small r square, where small r is distance from the center of the sphere. While in case of solid insulating sphere, there is a small difference. Electric field intensity outside is E is equal to kq by small r square, same. Electric field intensity on the surface E is equal to kq by capital R square, same. Electric field intensity at the center of a charged solid insulating sphere is also 0, same. But electric field intensity inside the charged insulating sphere, electric field intensity inside charged solid insulating sphere is different, which is equal to K capital Q by capital R cube into R dash. If we look at the graphs, hollow conducting, solid conducting, hollow insulating have a same formulas and same graph of E versus R, while solid insulating sphere has a graph that is from center to the surface E is directional to R dash, and outside E is inertial to small r square. Now, very important point and continuously asked in exams, called as electric dipole. What is electric dipole? A positive charge and equal amount of negative charge separated by constant distance 2a is called as electric dipole. Again, a positive charge and equal amount of negative charge separated by constant distance 2a is called as electric dipole. The property of electric dipole is nothing but electric dipole moment. It is a vector. What is electric dipole moment? The product of dipole length, that is 2a, and charge q is called as electric dipole moment. Product of dipole length and charge, product of dipole length and charge is called as electric dipole moment. Now, if we know electric dipole moment, then we can find out electric field intensity of electric dipole. There are three conditions. Condition number 1, electric field intensity of dipole along the axis. Now, what is axis? Axis is a line passing through both the charges. Now, electric field intensity of a dipole at a distance small r along the axis is E is equal to 2 capital K capital P R divided by R square minus A square whole square. 2 kpr divided by R square minus A square whole square. Electric field intensity of dipole along the axis is 2 kpr divided by R square minus A square whole square. And if R is greater than small a, and if we neglect small a, then the equation will be 2 kp by R cube. Now, next, electric field intensity of dipole along the equator. Now, what is equator? Equator is perpendicular bisector. Equator is perpendicular bisector of electric dipole. Now electric field intensity of a dipole along the equator at a distance small r is E equator is equal to Kp divided by r square plus a square raised to 3 by 2. Electric field intensity of a electric dipole along the equator, E equator is Kp divided by r square plus a square raised to 3 by 2. And if we neglect the a, that means if r is greater than a, then we can write E equator is equal to Kp by r cube. E equator is equal to Kp by r cube. We can observe along the axis E is 2 Kp by r cube, along the axis E is 2 Kp by r cube, and at the equator E is Kp by r cube. That means axis has a twice electric field as that of equator. Now last, electric field intensity of a dipole at an angle theta and a distance small r is E theta is equal to Kp by r cube into square root of 1 plus 3 cos square theta. Electric field intensity of a dipole at a distance small r and at angle theta is E theta is equal to Kp by r cube, Kp by r cube into square root of 1 plus 3 cos square theta. These are very important equations. Now if we put an electric dipole in a uniform electric field, if we put electric dipole in a uniform electric field, then we have three important properties: torque, potential energy, and work done. Number one, if the electric field intensity is E and electric dipole moment of an electric dipole is P. If E is electric field intensity and P is a dipole moment, then torque acting on a dipole is tau is equal to P cross E. Potential energy of a dipole is U is equal to minus P dot E. And obviously work done to rotate a dipole from angle theta 1 to theta 2 is change in potential energy. That means U2 minus U1. Over. 50% of electrostatics is over. Now next 50% includes electric field lines and Gauss law.